And we are live and recording.
Hey, good evening. I now call the August 11th, 2020 remote meeting of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education to order. All board members are participating by simultaneous communication. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Board members, please unmute your microphones at this time. As I call your name, please say present. Board member Rhonda Cheek. Board member Dr. Ruby Jones.
Present.
Board member Carol Sawyer.
Present.
Board member Margaret Marshall.
Present.
Board member Sean Strain.
Present.
Board member Lenora Shipp.
Present.
Board member Jennifer Delahade.
Present.
Board Vice Chair Thelma Byers Bailey.
Present.
Board Chair Elise Dashew.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 8 members present.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Move to adopt. Second.
Okay, I missed, who was that? Ms. Delahara first?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, I've got Ms. Delahara with motion and Ms. Shipp a second. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, that motion is adopted unanimously. All right, just checking to see who all is here. Okay, I now call on Board Vice Chair Thelma Byers Bailey to introduce tonight's pledge leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight's leader for the Pledge of Allegiance is Ellie Jeter. Ellie is a senior at Northwest School of the Arts, where she studies visual arts, painting and drawing with acrylic paint, colored pencils, and occasionally charcoal. She plans to go to college next year to study biology. She's applying to several colleges. Her first choice is Dartmouth, and she's also applying to Tulane, Georgetown, Clemson, NC State, and UNC at Chapel Hill. She wants to be a doctor. Ellie is an avid gardener and reader. She has more than 50 plants in her room at home, including ivy, succulents, and hanging vines. She likes reading history and says she regularly rereads the Federalist Papers. That might sound like a surprising choice for a young lady with so many artistic and horticultural interests, but she comes by her interest in history and politics honestly. Her father is Charles Jeter, the Executive Director of Governmental Affairs, Policy, and Board Services for CMS. We are pleased to have Ellie with us tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And board members, board members, if you would all mute yourselves now. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ellie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Jeter. We now move to requests from the public, and the rules are as follows. Each speaker will be called in to speak one at a time unless you are a part of a group. Each speaker will have a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board, and groups will have 10 minutes. Each speaker may speak on any topic of their choice except for individual student matters or specific personnel matters. Personal attacks will not be allowed. Profanity or other inappropriate language will not be allowed. The board reserves the right to cut off and mute any speaker who violates these rules. And with that, please allow The first three speakers in to the Zoom room, we will start with Jen Titus, followed by Jeff Taylor, and then Nadja Golden.
And Madam Chair, I don't see Jen Titus, so I'm going to move to the second speaker.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, I see you. I see your name. Sounds like you need to get your audio. Perhaps you need to be unmuted and connect your camera. Okay. There you are.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, please go right ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, let me just thank you guys for allowing me to take time to talk with you guys. And I want to thank you for all you do. I know that it's not easy time, and you guys are doing the best you can. So I appreciate you guys and all you do for our kids and for our community. I'm actually a community minister at a church, and believe it or not, I know what you're going through in terms of we make people happy about half, and we make the other half sad. So what I want to talk about real quick was just the whole athletics, and not only athletics, but theater, anything out there that as we move into this, next phase of stuff. I know the North Carolina High School Athletic Association has allowed districts to allow teams to gather. And I just wanted to come forth tonight and say that I know come Monday, when we get back to school, I think it's really going to start hitting kids and families hard again. We're back into Zoom, we're back into virtual, and I think it's going to hit some people hard. And being a dad of a sports kid, I know what it means to him. And so I just wanted to come to you guys and say, whether we play in the fall or whether we play in the spring, or maybe we don't play at all, just give some thought to allowing the kids to gather as a team and to condition, or allow theater kids to just get together for a little while. Because what's occurring is if you go around Charlotte-Mecklenburg, as I've gone around some, there are kids that are in camps. There are kids playing baseball, whatever it is, but there are also kids that are starting to do player-led gatherings. And you're getting 30 to 40 to 50 kids who are gathering in parks, who are, they're teenagers. So they're probably not following the guidelines of social distancing or wearing a mask. And I just think that if we could allow kids to do that with coaches and with, the trainers, and we could grab a hold of that situation, I think that would just be a positive thing for the community and a positive thing for these kids. I have talked to parents and kids who are in a bad spot, and being in church, I've had to talk with these kids, and they just want something to grasp a hold to. I applaud you guys, and I know, like I said, it's not easy, but I just ask that you guys give some thought process to, if these kids are gathering, and if these kids are doing these player-led things, or they're gathering here and there, I would feel better as a parent if the kids were social distancing and wearing masks and being led by coaches. Those relationships are big. And so the North Carolina High School Athletic Association has said, have at it, that you could do these things, even though they haven't set any playing time until after September the 11th for everything to officially start. Unofficially, I just know it would mean a lot for the kids to get together if we can do it in the right way, and do it in a way that's, safe. So, I pray for you guys. And like I said, I know it's not easy, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me, but just give some thought to maybe letting these kids together. If we can do the pods of 25, that would be awesome. If, the coaches are there and they're taking temperatures and they're doing things, it'd be awesome. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we have Nadja Golden. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Close enough. As you can imagine, it's been messed up many times over the years.
Sorry.
Oh gosh, it's no problem. It's actually Nadia Golden.
Nadia. Okay.
Yes, it's nice to see all your faces. I just want to echo a lot of what Mr. Taylor just said. First of all, thanking you for your dedication to our kids and all your hard work. I know that you're scrambling here close to the finish line at the start of a new school year. I've written to all of you, and a lot of you have responded, and thank you for your thoughtful responses. And I think you probably know a lot of what I'm about to say. And it, again, is the importance of athletics and extracurriculars, as especially we go into this virtual learning environment. To me, now that we're in August, starting in March, I feel like we have focused on the wrong things. In this pandemic, we can tell that most of the spread of this virus happens indoors, and we were trying to get kids indoors first. And I actually think we need to turn it around and focus on how we can still maintain relationships with kids outdoors, knowing that we can only get them indoors once we have some of this virus under control. And you guys can't really control when the virus is under control. We as a community can try our best, but that is not something you guys as school board members can control. So I don't want to waste 6 more months not having learned that lesson. And knowing that from the governor and the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, we are currently allowed to work out observing social distancing and health guidelines. We should really start it immediately. I think a lot of us parents, especially and particularly of teenagers, are really struggling with idle time. It's nerve-wracking every day with these teenagers, trying to get them to make the right choices and observe health guidelines. And I think we're missing the opportunity for students to lead on that. So if they're excited to go to the football field or their cross-country event or even the theater kids, if they can, through their coaches, start being leaders about wearing masks, about observing social distancing, because they know that if they don't observe those health standards, they don't get this opportunity anymore. I think they could be a great tool in delivering that message to the community at large. I know the health department has struggled to reach certain areas within our community about the importance of wearing masks. Well, if all the high school kids are promoting that within the neighborhood, first of all, it normalizes it for all students. So when we are going back into in-person learning, they're okay wearing them. But thank you again. I think my time is up.
Thank you, Ms. Golden. Next, we have Lawrence Brinson, followed by Lynn Wilson, and then Julie Knoffels. Hi, Mr. Brinson.
Hello. Hey, everybody. I won't take too long, but I do want to thank everybody for allowing me here to have an opportunity to speak before you. And I just wanted to reiterate and just touch bases on educator voice as we move forward, as I know that we're starting off remotely. And at some point we do, because we do really want our children to be in school, but we want them to be in school safely. And as we enter into the next few weeks or months, and we think about re-entering the schools with students present, I do want to make sure that educators know and it is expressed that they have an opportunity to have a seat at the table to express any concerns or issues that they have. And when we talk about educators, we do include custodians, secretary, teacher assistants, anyone that is employed with CMS. And we just want to make sure that there's an opportunity for them to be able to voice their concerns, and as well as administrators. We know that administrators have some issues as well that they want to discuss, and also give them an opportunity to advocate for the staff as well. So essentially, we know that at some point students will be entering the schools, but we do want to make sure that educators have an opportunity, if it's through the Safe School Safety Committee, if it's through FAC, making sure that every school knows and has an active FAC, and just being transparent and giving educators an opportunity and a voice to express the issues and concerns that they have. So didn't want to take too much time, but I do want to thank you for everything that you're doing for educators and parents in the community. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Brinson. Before we go to the next speaker, I need to give the interpreters a chance to switch out.
I was told I would be taken out automatically.
Right. There we are. Okay, welcome to our next sign language interpreter. And next we have speaker Lynn Wilson. Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Mr. Superintendent. I've come back tonight just to complete my request that I started last month when I didn't know how to do the unmute. And ask that you all please release the latest per pupil per school expenditure report and post it prominently on the website, much like you did in 2010, 2011, the last time that was released. I want you to do this not because I question at all the allocation of the funding, I don't, but simply because there seems to be a misunderstanding in the community about how much funds are allocated per students. I hear all the time that the kids in the suburbs and the kids in the wealthier areas get more money from CMS than the kids in the poorer areas of town. And that's just absolutely not true. The opposite, in fact, is true. Last month, I talked a little bit about how the high schools and middle schools in the suburbs receive substantially less per student than the kids in some of the inner city schools. And I used the specific examples of Bailey and Cornelius compared with Sedgefield Middle. Sedgefield Middle receiving 81% more per student than did Bailey. And West Charlotte contrasted with Ardrey Kell, West Charlotte receiving 69% more per student than Ardrey Kell. Tonight, I'd like to talk about the elementary schools. And I want you to know that I realize these are the very extreme examples I'm giving. Most of them were funded within about $1,000 or so of each other per student. But look at Walter Byers, for example. It gets $17,000 per student. Not saying that's not deserved, not warranted, but compare that with Valentine, which gets $7,800. Or Washam and Cornelius that gets $8,100 per child, while Bruns Academy gets $14,400. And again, I don't have any problem with the way those funds are allocated. I think they're probably allocated very appropriately. I know that CMS gets $9,500 per student from the state and the federal and local sources, or did in 2019. But I simply want to dispel the misconceptions out in the community that the kids in the suburbs are funded get more money per student than do the kids in the inner city. I just think that's a divisive misconception to have. I don't think it adds to the sense of community. And I would again plead with you to please post that report, much like you did in 2010, 2011, in the same format if possible, and prominently on the website. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Knoffels, I hope I pronounced that right.
That was perfect, actually. That sounded great. Great. Well, good evening, Superintendent Winston, Madam Chair, and CMS board members. Thank you for all you do for our students, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts with you this evening about the importance of allowing CMS student athletes to return to practice. I come to you tonight as a parent of two CMS Providence High School student athletes, a son who is a junior basketball player, and a daughter who played volleyball all 4 years at Providence and is getting ready to start her freshman year at UNCW, where she will continue her volleyball career. I myself played basketball through college, coached on many levels, and will be serving as the Panther Athletic Club president in the coming year. You could say I have a lot of firsthand experience about the importance of sports in kids' lives. There are so many more benefits than risks of allowing these athletes to return to practice. Not only are sports helping these kids physically, but they are also experiencing amazing mental health benefits through supervised supportive interactions, which are incredibly important for healthy adolescent social and emotional growth. By restricting sports and other extracurricular activities, these students are facing a higher risk of depression, substance abuse, along with so many other mental and physical health concerns. Literally, every other district in North Carolina has been practicing since the NCHSAA authorized student athletes to return to practice June 15th, and they have now moved into phase 2 on August 3rd. This includes Union County Schools, which is just a couple miles down the road from where I am sitting. So many club teams and private schools within the CMS district are playing both indoor and outdoor sports, and CMS won't even allow outdoor conditioning. It is time for CMS to follow the recommendations of the NCHSAA and allow the return of school practices. Our CMS students are being left behind and are at high risk of facing a long list of health issues by not returning to sports and other extracurricular activities. Athletic directors and coaches at CMS schools have come up with excellent plans to return to practice safely, and now is the time to trust them. Please let our student athletes engage in sports like the rest of their peers across the state. Thank you again for your time and all your support, and I hope you all have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. And before we go to our next speaker, I think that you may have noticed we have sign language interpreters with us tonight, and they're switching off after every 20 minutes. And our current interpreter seems to have lost her signal. So I'm not sure if we need to get her back or bring.
Let's see her back yet, Madam Chair. We're gonna have to wait till she rejoins before I can put her back in.
Okay.
Oh, here she comes.
All right. Okay. So our final speaker is Nicholas Braswell.
And Mr. Braswell is not in the audience tonight.
Oh, okay. Well then, Madam Clerk, if there were any public comments that were sent via email, would you please read those into the record at this time?
Madam Chair, we did not receive any public comment emails.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. In that case, we will now turn to our consent agenda. Is there a motion that the board approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so that is a motion from Ms. Shipp, a second from Ms. Byers-Bailey. Before we move to a vote, does any board member wish to pull any part of this item for individual consideration?
Wow.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hands and say yes. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
Yes.
All right. That passes unanimously. Okay. Mr. Superintendent, do you have any personnel appointments that you would like to speak about?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity, Madam Chair and board members. I do have one personnel matter tonight that I would like to bring and officially introduce as Ms. Kelly adds a slide to the screen. Thank you so much. And I am extremely happy to announce at tonight's board meeting, Brian Slattery as the new principal at Community House. Mr. Slattery, who is with us, and we'll give him an opportunity to say a few remarks momentarily, currently is the principal at In Haven Elementary School, served since 2013. Prior to his role at In Haven, he served as an assistant principal at Elizabeth Traditional, as well as a teacher at Highland Renaissance Academy. Prior to a teaching stint in Germany for a few years, Mr. Slattery taught at several other CMS schools, and they are Greenway Park, Hidden Valley, and Nathaniel Alexander Elementary School. And I am extremely happy to have Mr. Slattery join the Community House family, and would invite him to provide any brief remarks that he would like to now.
Thank you, Superintendent Winston. I'd just like to thank Superintendent Winston and the CMS Board of Education for this opportunity. I really do consider this an honor, and I am looking forward to working with the students, families, and staff at Community House.
Thank you, Mr. Slattery.
So if that is it, is that it, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, Madam Chair, that concludes this part of my remarks.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, board members, we have no action items tonight, so I turn to the superintendent to introduce a report from our child nutrition department that includes an exciting new program called CMS Eats at Home. Back to you, Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. And board members, you know, one of the questions that we receive often is, how will we continue to provide meals for our families during a remote learning period? And so I wanted to give an opportunity for staff to share our ongoing commitment to guaranteeing that every CMS student has access to healthy and nutritional meals each day. And so with that, I am excited to introduce Kathy Beam, who is our Executive Director of School Nutrition Services, to provide a report about our CMS Eats at Home program. And I would invite Kathy to come on and join us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today to bring you some information regarding our School Nutrition Services Department and our plan for moving forward into the 2021 school year. Would like to share some information with you now on my screen. Okay, well, we didn't start at the beginning. I'm still learning my Zoom here. Okay, there we go. Yes, thank you again for the opportunity this evening to meet with you and to talk with you about School Nutrition Services Department. You know, the mission of School Nutrition Services remains the same day in, day out, regardless of what's going on in our world. And we are committed to having our caring professionals offer students nutritious, appealing, and affordable meals in support of their academic success. And in that, just to talk about the scope of our department just a little bit, we are responsible for providing breakfast, lunch, and snacks for students, including economically disadvantaged students who receive free or reduced price meals. And that's approximately 1,128 permanent employees, 167 full service operations, and 17 transport sites. We also offer some other value-added services, which we have listed up here on the screen. So how do school meals work? Where does the money come from? How are they funded? So meals for public school children in North Carolina are funded through the following United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA programs: the National School Lunch Program, School Breakfast Program, Child and Adult Care Food Program, and the Summer Food Service Program. It's important to understand the differences between these three programs. The NSLP and SBP School Breakfast Program provide lunch and breakfast on days when school is in session. CACFP provides at-risk after-school students a snack or a supper meal. And the Summer Food Service Program provides meals for children in low-income areas during the summer months when school is not in session. The Summer Food Service Program also includes a provision to allow meals to be served during unanticipated school closures. So School Nutrition Services is a business operating within the school district, performing these business functions, supporting the district goals and contributing to the academic success of our students, making sure that we're in compliance with nutrition standards and federal regulations, working through the free and reduced meal application and verification processes, procuring food and supplies and inventory control, nutrition education and special diets, menu planning and nutrient analysis, meal accountability, staff development, and marketing and promotions. Another business function that we are extremely proud of is the administration of our award-winning Summer Food Service Program. Our Summer Food Service Program is the largest in the state of North Carolina and was a 2018 recipient of a USDA Best Practice Award for Summer Food Program operations. In 2019, our picnic meal production site at Oakdale Elementary School received the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction Superior Site Award. This award recognizes North Carolina Summer Nutrition Program sites for going above and beyond to gain and maintain meal participation from local children and the community. So the 1920 school year started off very strong. In August of 2019, School Nutrition got to celebrate the 40-year work anniversary of our longest serving employee, Miss Mary McGowan, who is the cafeteria manager at Mallard Creek Elementary School. She has served many CMS students over the years and has continued during the pandemic period and is planning to return this fall. So we look forward to having Mary for this 41st year. We also, in January, in conjunction with our building services and inventory distribution departments, had a January ribbon cutting event to celebrate the 2019 fall completion of 3,400 additional square feet of cooler space at our Craig Avenue warehouse facility. This space provided much needed relief to existing cold storage and now allows us to properly stage frozen products to be loaded and delivered to our kitchens. This space also has allowed us to take advantage of additional opportunities to provide more North Carolina farm-to-school fruits and vegetable options for our students. So through all of this, our business model is an enterprise fund, which means that we must create enough revenue to cover the costs of our operation. And 2019-20 was going along pretty well. We were on a strong path to recover increased costs of the 2019-20 school year, including the 2019 fall pay raises for employees. And then March 13th rolled around and Governor Cooper closed our schools due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In a very short period of time, from a Saturday notification that this was going to take place to a Tuesday morning, School Nutrition pivoted and opened 67 drive-through grab-and-go meal sites to serve our families. 1.9 million meals were served to families at no charge, funded through the USDA Summer Food Service Program provision, which allows for meal services at qualifying sites during times of unexpected school closures. USDA meal program waivers also allowed the drive-through grab-and-go service model during this COVID-19 period. And we packed many, many bags. Lots of these white bags were packed during this time and distributed. But I'm very proud to say, and I want to point out that the bags were a lot of our cold items and our breakfast items. It was not all cold sandwiches, because a lot of great looking food, salads and hearty food were served every day at our 67 sites. And I was so proud of our staff for the meals that they put together and served in our communities. And here are a few pictures of our great staff serving curbside, car side, dock side, rain or shine, all with a smile. Here's some additional staff pictures. And I want to take this opportunity to thank our CMS Police Department for their fantastic security associates that became a critical part of our meal distribution team at each of our sites. Our teams also supported other district initiatives to get information and supplies to parents, such as technology and food backpacks and many other things. With the official end of the 1920 school year on June the 9th, we had to make another pivot. We were required to transition from the COVID-19 emergency feeding plan to the traditional summer food service program. So beginning on June the 15th, Grab and Go Meals reopened at 52 school sites and 20 mobile sites throughout the community. USDA extended program waivers to allow the Grab and Go service model to continue through the summer months. Another 1 million meals were served during this time period. I can't stress enough how extremely proud I am of the work that our school nutrition employees did during the COVID period and continued on into summer. But as we move into a new school year, school nutrition services, like many restaurant businesses around us, are concerned about the upcoming year with the current COVID-19 and remote learning environment that we find ourselves in. Just to give you an example, overnight, we literally went from serving 41,000 breakfasts a day down to 20,000, serving 85,000 lunches a day down to 20,000, from serving 4,800 snacks a day down to 0, serving 2,300 suppers a day down to 0. And we also lost the revenue, $35,000 a day across the district for adult sales and supplemental sales down to 0. So our opportunity to make revenue has been really cut and highly impacted by the COVID situation that we are in. And let's look at some of our costs. And the two costs that I really want to focus on, because they're our largest cost, are food cost and labor cost. As a percent of revenue, food cost pre-COVID-19 and during the COVID-19 period was about 40%. It stayed very even. And I was very proud of our staff for managing the food and the inventory for that to be the case. Our labor cost as a percent of revenue went from 41% to 102% during the COVID-19 period. And as you can see, the reason for that, with the third graph here, the number of employees remained the same during that COVID-19 period and from that pre-period through the COVID-19 period. So those employees.
Ms. Beam, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if we could pause for 1 minute, we need to let the interpreters trade places. So as soon as we get the other interpreter on the screen, we can resume again. There we are. Okay, I think we're good to go again, Ms. Beam. Thank you.
Yes, it couldn't have happened at a better time. So as I'm talking about these costs, getting ready to switch gears and let you know what we're going to do about this. So COVID-19 and remote learning has really presented us a lot of challenges over the last few months. And I believe as school nutrition professional, starting my 30th back to school, that we are going to continue to see impacts from the COVID-19 for some time on our ability to make revenue and to employ our employees. But with all of these challenges, I keep coming back as I keep thinking about the employees in my department and the children that we serve. Two things remain the same. CMS students need to eat so that they can learn, and our employees need to work. So COVID-19 and remote learning have challenged us to pivot and to be innovative and creative in our plans to move forward to feed students. And with that said, I am pleased to announce CMS Eats at Home, our program to fuel remote learning. This program is actually rolling out this week, and what it will offer is a meal bundle of 5 breakfast meals and 5 lunch meals for CMS students. All meals meet the USDA nutritional requirements for school meals and include fresh fruits and vegetables. Parents need to pre-order these bundles for each student because beginning September the 1st, meal bundles will either be able to be picked up once a week at one of our 40 meal hubs across the district or delivered to the student's CMS bus stop. These bundles will either be picked up or delivered based on the A, B, C, or D attendance rotation assignment. And I believe that information is being communicated to parents later this week. This plan, by doing this on an A, B, C, and D assignment, will also allow us more flexibility when the time comes for us to pivot in a different direction when we hope that we're able to reopen schools under Plan B. Meals will be charged to the student's meal account based on their current meal status, free, reduced, or paid. Parents are encouraged to go ahead and complete their family meal application to see if they qualify for benefits. The free and reduced meal app is available online. It is live, and we encourage you to go ahead and complete that and submit that to us. Meals are provided at no charge to any students attending CEP schools, and a meal application is not required. If a student has a paid meal status, the family can purchase the meal bundle for $15 a week or $3 a day. And again, that will be 5 complete breakfast meals and 5 complete lunch meals. A major media campaign is being kicked off with this event tonight to attract and inform our customers. And of course, we are prepared to support our families through our CMS call center line and out of our CMS school nutrition office. So what will happen is from August 17th to August 31st, because we are still under the summer food service program and the waivers until the 31st, we will continue to provide daily grab-and-go drive-through service at the 40 meal hubs. And then beginning on September the 1st, we will transition to the meal bundle program. And the goals of this program, again, what I keep coming back to, feed students and employ as many school nutrition employees, bus drivers, and CSAs as we can. And here is our menu for the first rotation of CMS Eats at Home. And these are items that are very popular with our students. And we will be sending these home frozen unless they're shelf-stable and with reheat instructions. So the family can reheat those at their leisure. We will be, as time goes on, making some product substitutions for seasonal items. And 2, we want to keep this meal bundle fresh. And here's all the items that are included in the meal bundle. We pulled them out and wanted to make a nice picture so everyone could see the volume, the amount of food that we're sending home, and the fresh fruits and vegetables that are in there, as well as our whole grains and our lean proteins. We again will send the items with the exception of the shelf stable and the fresh fruit. We will send the items home frozen with reheat instructions for the family. Each bundle will also contain product nutritional information and allergen information for those students with special diets. So who is our customer base for this program? We have approximately 48,000, a little over 48,000 students in CEP schools that are eligible to receive this bundle at no charge. Another 36,000 or so free and reduced students that attend our non-CEP schools, for a total of a little over 84,000 what I call no charge total potential customers. One thing that I'd like to point out here is that reduced students will also be able to receive the meal bundle at no charge for this upcoming school year. The state of North Carolina has allocated dollars for 1 year to cover the 40-cent copay that we normally have to charge the families of reduced students. So a total of 84,000 or so, what I call no charge potential customers. We also have about 65,000 paid customers, and I think that's a market that we don't want to overlook. The bundle will be available for $15 to our paid families, and we do ask that you have money on your account prior to placing an order. But what we hope to offer everyone is convenience. We'll bring it right to your CMS bus stop, high quality food. So that's one concern that you don't have to have moving forward, is how your child is going to eat through the week. We do need everyone to get behind this and to support this program. We are asking our families to tell everyone they know when they hear about it, to tell 3 other or 4 other people, or if they know more than that, anybody that has a student in CMS, please share this information with the families. And we're asking our community to spread the word as well about the program, because we believe this program can certainly be a win-win for all. Our students will get to eat quality meals, convenient meals, and we, again, are trying to continue to employ as many employees as possible. We will need families to sign up for the either pickup or delivery, regardless of what school your child attends or what your meal status is. We need everyone to sign up. And the reason is because after September the 1st, we will once again be under the guidelines of the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs for funding. And these programs are more strict and require that meals be charged to the individual student account based on their meal status, whether that be free, reduced, or paid. And how we're going to accomplish this is by utilizing our existing PayPAMS online payment software to order these meal bundles. Families can simply log in to PayPAMS if they already have an account, and they will see a third option there, pre-order meal bundles, that they can click and place their order. Parents that have not had a PayPAMS account in the past will have to go through a one-time setup for the account before they can order. But it's very basic information. It's the parent name, the contact information, and associating your CMS children with the account in the system. So we will be giving you more information about how to do that. And the way it's going to work from there is the bundles will need to be ordered weekly. We will have a schedule out, and the parent will go in and select how many bundles they would like for the children that are associated with their account. And they can pick a pickup location or select deliver request to my CMS bus stop. At this point, this is simply a request. So you'll be submitting that request through our system. The system will in turn send the parent back a confirmation email, thanking them for their order and letting them know what they selected. For bus stop deliveries, CMS Transportation will take the requests for those asking for bus stop delivery and create custom routes for the bundle delivery. Parents will receive additional communication regarding the bus number and the time of delivery. It will not probably be your same bus that your child gets on every day, and it certainly probably won't be the same time that the bus usually comes to pick them up for school, because these will be custom routes that are based on the request that we have. It's important to note, though, that all CMS students are eligible for bus delivery. If your student's a walker or rides a car rider or rides from a daycare van, that's fine. You can still order for a bus delivery because our transportation department is going to, again, make a custom route and they will get it to you. So some information has already started to go out over social media, and we have a really nice website as well for the CMS Eats at Home program. But you're going to see a lot more coming about the CMS Eats at Home program through a lot of different means, and that will actually kick off this evening. So we just need everybody to really get behind this program and to support it going forward. One other school nutrition initiative to provide meals for our students during the remote learning period is by providing daily meals for CMS students that are in childcare. And we welcome agencies, groups, partners that are providing these services to contact our school nutrition office for additional information about this program. So these will be daily deliveries because most places for childcare can't handle 10 meals per child for refrigerations. But so we have a daily plan to serve groups and agencies that are providing this type of service to our students. We do have a really nice web page. I invite you to visit the CMS Eats at Home web page under our CMS website and click on the meals icon, or certainly reach out to us in school nutrition. Give us a call or shoot us an email. We are just so excited to bring this program to our district. Again, we do feel like it can be a win-win situation for everybody. Last week on Thursday, my staff came back to work, our cafeteria managers, and I shared some information with them. And one of the statements that I made was that I believe that this upcoming school year might be the toughest ever to be a school nutrition professional. It is going to be challenging. I'm sure there are going to be some bumps in the road, but I feel certain that the school nutrition and transportation staffs can deliver on this program. You know, with challenges though come opportunities. And I also shared with our staff that this year, while it will be challenging, just also might be the most exciting and revolutionary year ever in school nutrition. So on behalf of the school nutrition staff and our transportation partners, we look forward to kicking this program off and to serving our students in the upcoming school year. And at this time, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Can we get, if you could stop sharing your screen, Ms. Bean. Okay, I'm going to give the first question to Ms. De La Hara because I know she needs to leave soon to go to her child's school's open house.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Madam Chair. And thank you, Ms. Bean, for this wonderful presentation. I personally am very excited about the CMS Eats at Home program and plan to sign up very soon to have them delivered to my area, or maybe I'll choose to pick up. Before I ask my question, I also just want to comment that I did have the opportunity this summer to go out, and I followed the bus that was leaving from Blythe Elementary through some of the neighborhoods in Huntersville as the nutrition staff was dropping off employees, and just because I wanted to see firsthand, you know, what was going on, and it was very impressive to see the dedication of your team, and I just wanted to share that with you. So thank you. If you could please pass that on to those that may not be listening. I just wanted to clarify quickly. Did I hear you at the end say for families that may be in a daycare situation and not necessarily at home that you're altering that to a daily drop off? Could you repeat that? And then secondly, let me go ahead and do the second part so you can just answer them both. I noticed there was options for pickup because I may choose to do that instead. I'm wondering if once you click on one, are you set for that for the rest of the semester or to when we go back to plan B or whatever, or can you change that? I'm just curious.
Okay, yes, we are offering a daily meal delivery to agencies and partners groups that are going to be having CMS children in their care all day long for, you know, remote learning and for child care. We do need, those groups will need to contact our office, and we will need to talk with them about the program and to get them signed up for it. But yes, we are able to offer that because we realize that not everybody is going to be at home or be at their CMS bus stop to pick up a meal. And then with the second question, no, you are not locked in to whatever choice you make. That's something that you can change weekly as we go forward. So if you want to pick up one week and have your pick up at the bus stop another week, you can choose those options.
Okay, thank you very much. And
Thank
I
you.
do hope to rejoin the meeting after my son's open house tonight. So thank you all.
Okay, Ms. Sawyer, and then Ms. Ship.
Thank you. This is such an amazing program, and I encourage everyone, certainly at schools where there's community eligibility, to sign up for the meals, the meal bundles, to help support our schools. I've heard a couple of concerns from folks at CEP schools that are eligible for the community eligibility program, and they're worried that if they wouldn't normally qualify for the free reduced lunch, that they're they're denying another family of a meal. And I don't think that's true, but I want to just make sure that you explain that a little bit.
Yes, CMS is reimbursed for all meals served through the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs. So whether that's 100 meals or 1,000 meals, whatever we serve, we're going to be reimbursed for. So our CEP families, certainly don't need to worry about that. And we encourage them, we ask them to please support this program to support our employees as well that are going to be actually making these bundles and delivering them. So no need to worry there.
Okay. And can a friend or a neighbor coordinate the pickup if they happen to be on the same day? Does it who has to be present to do the pickup?
Well, what we are hoping to do is we're asking students to bring their student ID card. We would like to get to a place where we will just be able to scan the barcode on the card. Now, we will not have that service available right out of the gate. That takes a little bit of more legwork in the background, but they will need to have the student name and ID number if they do not have the ID card. But that ID card is going to become increasingly important as we go, and the longer that we stay in this type of plan. So yes, and I understand that neighbors are going to be watching children while other people work and that type of thing. So we will look for the order. We will be cross-checking the order against who we're delivering to at the bus stop, and with that name and student ID number, we will be able to deliver the bundle.
So even if a parent, even if the student isn't along, if the parent has the ID card, that solves it. Or if a neighbor has the name and ID numbers with a note to pick up.
Yes, ma'am. The National School Lunch Program has extended waivers to allow parents to pick up without the children being present.
Good.
But we do have to have that, we do have to identify though what child that food is going to. So that's why that name and ID number and that card is a huge part of the program, because what we're going to have to do is come back to the school and actually run that through our point of sale system that we normally use when regular school is in. So we have to know exactly who's receiving that bundle.
Okay. And the pickups are late afternoon and into the evening. About what time, and will the bus deliveries be during the day?
Well, what we are going to start with is if you're picking up at a school location, we've been doing daily pickup from 10:30 to 12:30, and that's worked pretty well. We haven't heard a lot of pushback related to that. I really feel like bus stop delivery, when word starts to spread about that, will be the way that the majority of our customers will go. And we are planning right now for our first wave of buses to be on the lot at the school at 7:30 for loading. And that will take us, a few minutes, and to get on the road around 8 o'clock. And then depending on the number of bundles ordered for each hub and the routing, some of the buses will return for a second wave or maybe a third wave. So we will let the parent know through a Connect 5 message the day before what time to expect the bus and what bus number it will be. And and I'll be real honest, we're figuring it out as we go. So we might have to make some adjustments to that, but right now that's the plan to start on September 1st.
Okay, if we could pause for 1 minute and let the interpreters switch out. All right. Okay, resume.
One more. Can non-CMS students purchase a meal bundle? For instance, if a family has some CMS students but might have a student at a charter school, could they order an extra meal bundle for that extra family member, or is it just for CMS students?
At this time, we are just set up for CMS students.
Okay.
If we have a large demand, of course, we want to feed those students, and we could certainly use that business. So I would encourage anybody that might be in that situation to reach out to our office and let me know, what the need is, and we'll see if we can figure out how to address that.
Thank you. This is a marvelous program, and I so appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Shipp.
Yes, first I want to say thank you so much, Kathy Bean, for what you all have done. I know it's tremendous work with your entire school nutrition staff. I really know what that looks like at the schoolhouse level, and just imagine trying to do this all in the way that you have. Great job doing fourth quarter. It was awesome. I went by some of the lunch sites, heard from campus security officers how they were even impressed with what you were doing and being able to support you, bus drivers being able to support. So it is a tremendous, tremendous job. And I know it's going to be a challenge this year, but thank you. Because I know the business you run actually in the school part of that. So I know it's challenging, but thank you. I had just two questions, I think really. One, this change between August 17th and then jumping to September. What is going on in between for those who can't be involved in terms of food? Well, let me understand that, because I know you said August 17th to the 31st, you will not be running the bus stop fees and you will not be doing the bundles yet. So how does that work for those who need to eat that's not quite there?
Okay, from the 17th to the 31st, daily meal pickup for grab and go, just like we've been doing since March the 17th, will be available at our 40 meal hub locations. And we would love for families to come out, and glad to serve them in that drive-through line. And while that's going on, we're going to be doing everything that we can to get them to go ahead and sign up for the bundle program, because we are kicking that off the next week. And we are going to be putting that out. I have a team of managers that are also going to serve in a marketing capacity, and they will be at that drive-through line talking to parents about it and how to sign up and encouraging them to sign up. And they're telling everybody they know, and I am too, about this. So while that's going on, we will be encouraging folks to sign up. Now, the A cohort or the A group delivery will be on that Tuesday, the 1st, and the B group on Wednesday, the C group on Thursday, and the D group on that Friday, September the 4th. So there will be a couple of days there while we are transitioning from one program to the other, that those that will receive bundle deliveries towards the end of the week will be, we won't have anything available for them. But I would encourage them, if that's a particular need, to reach out to their school counselors, and Loaves and Fishes will do referrals from our counselors, and also I believe you can do a self-referral to help address those needs. So we are going to have to call on our community partners for a few days to help us as we transition from our summer food service operation over to National School Lunch and the bundle program.
And my last question would be about families really understanding this. And I know there'll probably be a lot going out from the school, from the teachers, from the principals, using Connect 5 or Connect Ed, whatever it is now. I think it's Connect 5. And so I think that's the biggest piece, because we can talk about it in terms of going to the website, but I think it's going to be so important that the messaging and how we communicate this to the families, to these students, because August 17th is right here almost, making sure they know what that's going to look like for them to be able to eat. So I'm sure that's the biggest messaging piece, and I'm sure you have that, is going to start at the schoolhouse door. So I'm thinking, and I'm sure you know that, is that how you're working that more than anything, making sure that message gets out from at the school level and what is going home to parents?
Yes, teachers have already been provided with a script regarding the program that's available and how to sign up and everything. So as they're calling their students to survey them about other things and to meet them and that type of thing, every teacher has been asked to mention this program. And of course, information has gone out to our principals and counselors and social workers in our schools, and I'm going to be hitting them again probably the end of the week regarding the services that are available. Services are available. I think it's like you said, it's the communication piece that's difficult sometimes, and we just need to connect the need and the services together. We do need our community partners that work with groups that may not fully understand what needs to be done. We need our community partners to support us in this effort to spread the word and to help folks to understand and to get signed up. And we have a number of those partners that we've worked with since March the 17th through our Community Engagement and Partnerships Department, as well as quite an extensive mailing list of community agencies and groups that have worked with us in our summer food service program in prior years. And we are reaching out to them as well to let them know. But if everybody can just tell somebody and spread the word, I think a lot of this is probably going to have to be word of mouth and grassroots. So need that support.
And community partnerships. So if they have something already set up and their students that they're working with are CMS students, they can participate.
Oh,
and
yes,
I do know some partnerships that are wanting to probably get in contact with you. So thank you so much for this. This has been wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, I see Ms. Cheek and then Ms. Marshall.
Thank you so much. Ms. Dean, I just have to tell you that the heart and soul that you have put in this is so evident. The love you have for children and making sure that children get nutritious and healthy food, in addition to the clear love and devotion you have to your employees to make sure that you can find ways to keep them employed during this really unprecedented, which I'm so sick of that word, but aren't we all? But it is an unprecedented time. But I just have to tell you, it comes through so clearly in the work that you're doing. And I just have to thank you for that. I know you get choked up when you talk about it.
I do.
So it is known and it is appreciated. So we're going to try to kick up the grassroots. A lot of us on the board and everyone has a lot of social media. I'm trying to stay off social media these days, but this is a reason that I'll get on it because it's about helping our kids and helping our staff.
Yes, ma'am.
And those are the two top priorities.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And that's really all.
Thank you.
Ms. Marshall.
I want to echo everything that Ms. Cheek said and everybody else. Kathy Beam, I don't think has slept much since March the 13th. and nor have her staff. And every time I have been at a school and visited with your staff, it's just such a lift, because again, it comes through that they take pride in what they do. They take genuine care and love for all the students and families they serve, and that comes through every day, and it will continue to come through in this. But this is different because we have to identify students and match them up just like we would in a cafeteria. So it's really taking this into a whole different place than this normally is. And this is just probably one of the most innovative things that I've seen. Well, there's everything's innovative. I mean, everything. This is rubber meets the road, and a lot of thought has gone into this. And this department is just like, they are the pivot people. So we have watched them pivot from one thing to another thing, and now to this. And frankly, set up to pivot back to in-person, because that's something I do want to address. When we're able to pull some of this back, and hopefully sooner rather than later, then we can, I guess what you would do is be reducing the number in the bundle, because in a plan B, no matter what, students will be out of school part of the time. So they'll need to eat as well. So I think that's important that you have been addressing that, looking at that, figuring out when that time comes that you can pivot quickly, because that's what this semester is going to be about, is a pivot.
Yes, ma'am.
So I appreciate that and that thoughtfulness that's gone into that. A couple questions around the free and reduced lunch pieces that are so important, because we talk about this every year. I did a spot last year as a television interview about this, and this is the most important free and reduced lunch application any parent's going to make is this year, because that is the gate, that is the golden key, the ticket to get this in your child's hands. So we really have to encourage that will happen, and I will make that commitment to push that out as well. Let me ask, if you are in a community eligibility provision school, and that's a school where everybody gets free breakfast and free lunch, do those students need to fill out a free and reduced lunch application as well?
Okay, students that attend a CEP school are automatically qualified for the free meals. They do not need to complete an application. However, we do need them to sign up though for the bundle pickup or delivery. So, but they do not need to do an application if they're attending a CEP school.
Okay, so that's great. So you basically have done that for them, but they have to fill out, but they have to identify the fact that, yes, I do want food, and give that pickup option, whether that's bus stop or pickup. So I just want to make sure of that. So I think too that this the ability to partner with childcare centers and any other community group, again, whether we are in a B or a C scenario, students will be out of school. So I know that childcare is one of those continuing conversations. It will continue to be a conversation. And so this is really important no matter where those students are. And I just would encourage other community members that pick up from school or pack your lunch. I mean, this is an easy piece. So you can have this, and for $15, I think that looked like an enormous amount of food. So I think that's great. I'm also interested, and I don't know if this has been explored, in people that might be willing to make some donations, some dollar donations, to make sure that we get this done, because again, everybody needs to fill out this free reduced lunch push. Is there a portal for that? Is there a provision made for donations?
Yes, for monetary donations for meal support, we ask that you contact the CMS Foundation.
Okay.
And provide your monetary donation through them, and be sure to indicate that it is for meal support, and then they will pass it through to us for it to be applied.
All right, great.
But that's we feel like that's the best way to handle that. So with it going through the foundation.
Well, thanks, Kathy. Again, I don't think you're probably going to get any sleep for a while yet either. So I sure hope. I thank you for everything you do. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Shul.
Again, just what everyone else said, but I think this is just outstanding. I can't think of a better example of adapting to students' needs and meeting them where they need to be met in a time like this. Kids not getting food has been something that's of the utmost concern throughout, for every school reopening decision making. And I can confidently say this program, I think, is meeting those needs. I was wondering about, for the bus stop deliveries, are the bus drivers also responsible for distributing those meals?
What we will do is we are planning to have, in addition to a bus driver, 2 or so transportation employees that will also be on the bus, and perhaps maybe, depending on the numbers, a school nutrition employee. But between us, we're going to provide that additional support there, because we are going to need people on the buses to be able to, take the bundles and take them off the buses and hand them to the families. And we're also going to need somebody that is looking for the student ID, or if they don't have that, is checking off the student name and the ID number. So we do have to have someone kind of to do the heavy lifting, and then an accountability person. So there'll be at least 3. In heavy routes, there could potentially be 4 people, but we want to try to keep, bus is kind of a tight area, so we don't want to put too many people in there. But yes, we will have to have some additional folks, and I know the transportation employees are committed to this role as well. Adam Johnson has already met with them and got very positive feedback, and they're excited about this opportunity as well.
Great. And then I was also wondering, is the hotline that we had during the spring still going to be available as well?
Yes, I believe the CMS call center number is still active, and they have information about the program, or you can call the school nutrition office as well. And I have representatives there that will be glad to talk with you about either program and to help you sign up if you need assistance. I also have 2 ladies there as well that are bilingual. So we encourage our families to call, and we'll be glad to get them started.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, I will just also say thank you to Kathy Beam, to your whole team, to everyone in child nutrition services. You all are, it's a cliche, but it is true. You are frontline heroes. And I also want to thank the bus drivers and the CSAs who will be pitching in to make sure the meals get out to families. Excuse me. And I'm just going to call upon everyone who's watching this meeting, all of our community partners, all of the parents out there and the teachers out there to please, please, please spread the word to help families learn how to get PayPAMs and sign up and order their food, sign up for free and reduced lunch if they need to. Excuse me. So that's going to be another kind of full court press to get the word out on that. But it's a great program, so let's get it launched. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm now going to turn to the superintendent for his report.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. I just wanted to take an opportunity before I share my report to reiterate the remarks of our board members and Ms. Beam this evening as it relates to the CMS Eats at Home program. This really is a great way to serve our students who are in need, and it is also a very creative way to engage our hourly employees in other duties. And so if there are questions, as Ms. Beam indicated, I will certainly encourage people to call the CMS helpline, and that number is 980-343-3001. So definitely we want to support this effort. And Ms. Beam and her entire team has done a phenomenal job with rolling out this particular program, but making sure that students' needs are met since we closed for in-person instruction March 13th. So I just wanted to say that. I also wanted to share that our teachers and our school-based staff have completed their 4th day of professional development and planning in preparation for students to return next Monday, albeit not in person, but in a remote learning setting to start their school year. Now, during the first several days of the school year, we have actually seen staff arrive ready to get to work, to get to the work of providing educational experiences that will make us all proud. And I had the pleasure and the privilege of visiting several of our school sites this week. And I will tell you, and last week, and I will tell you that our teachers are excited, and I look forward to the great work that they will continue to do this school year. Even from behind the face coverings that are necessary to help slow the spread of the coronavirus, there was a noticeable energy and enthusiasm from our teachers. And we have also seen facilities that have been impacted by COVID-19 and can report that our procedures for protecting staff are working. All of our facilities have been provided with PPE, including the 7 face coverings for every staff member. Cleaning and sanitation supplies are on hand in the necessary quantities, and signage indicating proper social distancing and safety precautions are posted inside all of our buildings. Our custodial staff deserves many, many thanks and acknowledgements for all that they are doing to keep our facilities clean and safe. I do want to talk just for a moment about our medical advisory committee. The committee had its first meeting last week. That group is made up of members of our leadership team. We'll be adding a teacher, a principal to that team. And we also have our county health officials, including our health director, Gibby Harris. We also have public health experts from the 2 largest medical providers in our area who are serving on that committee. That work of that committee will inform our decision-making and provide the metrics we will analyze as we prepare to transition to in-classroom instruction in the hopefully the very near future. And I do know that we can expect to receive the best thinking of that team in approximately 3 weeks or so around their recommendations. Now, in fact, you know, the work that was started by our medical advisory committee represents the beginning process of reopening for in-person learning. I will tell you that our goal is to have students back in classrooms as soon as it is safe to do so. Unfortunately, I must report tonight that our Bright Beginnings Pre-K program will open with remote learning. And our North Carolina Pre-K seats will not open for in-person instruction. And so let me just say that one more time, because I know there are questions that are in the community. So our Bright Beginnings Pre-K program, as well as our North Carolina seats, those programs are not opening, and it is our expectation that when we begin to transition using a phased approach back into in-person learning, that we can incorporate our pre-K program as well. I think it's important, as I've mentioned, that neither program was set to open fully on August the 17th when the rest of our students report, as our pre-K offerings always begin with a staggered entry. but we do look forward to bringing students back for in-classroom instruction as we plan to prioritize our younger students and those with exceptional needs. And so soon we will be able to share our plan that will have these students return to the classroom first in a phased approach. I want to now just transition to some of the board members during the report by Ms. Bean talked about the importance of childcare. And I want to just say that we are so grateful in our community to have so many partners who are willing to step up. And I want to specifically highlight our valued community partner, the YMCA, who along with our district staff have developed a memorandum of understanding involving the development of child care services for CMS employees and other Mecklenburg County residents. These services will take place at YMCA sites and will not utilize CMS schools. This comes at a time of critical need due to CMS beginning the school year with full remote instruction. That memorandum of understanding, also known as an MOU, takes effect immediately and will end at such a time when CMS schools reopen for full in-classroom instruction learning. We truly appreciate the partnership of the YMCA, and I want to thank their leaders, including their president and CEO, Todd Tibbetts, for working with our team to meet the child care needs of this community. And so as we get ready to welcome our students back next week, I have challenged all of our employees to do everything possible to provide access to educational opportunity for all students. When we closed in March, we did not know that we wouldn't reopen before the end of the school year. We didn't know then that we would begin the school year by continuing remote learning. And so one difference for the start of the school year is that we have had months to prepare and improve the online learning experience. And I'm confident that all of our students will be challenged and have opportunities to learn and develop. And so one reason for my confidence in our preparation is from a technology standpoint. Our technology department is focused on distributing devices to all students who need them. We're working very hard to get the message throughout our footprint that broken or unused devices should be returned, and that for every student who needs a device or reliable internet service, we will be able to help. Also, our teachers are in the process of contacting students, and those calls represent an important first step in getting the school year started. I know that even in my own household, we received a call this afternoon from one of my daughter's teachers, and we were just excited to get that call, and our daughter was even more excited to be able to connect with her teacher before the first day of school. We've been holding virtual open houses and online video demonstrations of our Canvas learning platform. I know there was a session last night. There will be another one tomorrow, and then I believe yet a third one later this week. I want our families to know that our technology and device pickup and drop-off events are happening during the next several days. And as you heard tonight, our school nutrition staff has developed a program that could, I believe, be a model for districts throughout this country. It's important that we keep our students fed. And with the CMS Eats at Home program, we will be able to do just that while keeping our transportation and school nutrition personnel employees employed, even as we start the school year in an all remote environment. Now, we're less than a week from starting the 2020-2021 school year. And I would like to close by saying to all of our students, our families, our staff members, welcome back. We're prepared for an excellent school year. And I truly see us closer every day to a time when learning will take place in our facilities once again. I want to wish everyone a successful school year, and I look forward to seeing our schools bustling with activity very soon. Madam Chair, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you. I know Ms. Cheek had, so now we turn to reports from board members. And I will, at this time, I will recognize any board member who wishes to make a report. And I understand Ms. Cheek would like to make one. And then I see Dr. Jones.
Thank you. So tonight we're meeting via Zoom, and it is my hope, and I have expressed this to our board chair, that our next meeting, scheduled for August 25th, will be held in person at the Government Center with respecting social distancing and all other guidelines for safety. The board, this board, and central office staff needs to set an example for our classroom staff and students who are working in their environments right now about how we are going to carry on our work and our business in person. I am disappointed tonight that we didn't have a formal presentation about facilities, supplies, and staffing readiness, but I'm really happy to hear the report that Superintendent Winston just gave us regarding that initiative, and that the medical advisory committee has been set up and is underway. While the medical metrics are outside of our control, but they are improving, and I'm really happy to see all the numbers coming down, our facilities, supplies, and staffing are within our control. I urge staff to prepare a presentation for our next board meeting, or to at least consider and discuss this with board leadership, which I hope will show how we're working on those metrics which are under our control, and get some real hard numbers. Where do we stand with percentage wises of all those different things? Are we ready? Are we ready for that moment when the health metrics match what our goals are, that we can reopen our schools? Mr. Winston, I so appreciate you mentioning our goal of returning students to the classroom, because I think some people in our community don't understand that that is our goal. I'm hopeful that our staff is working on plans to have a reentry plan B when the health and facilities metrics are ready. So I'm hoping that we can't just pivot in a minute. We can't just pivot in a week. It's going to take a couple weeks once things are ready for us to roll back into the school. So I'm hoping that that's ready. Final thing I'm going to mention, I'm a parent of 3 students, all former CMS student athletes. I'm really concerned about our sports and extracurricular programs. We had people speak about that tonight. Mr. Winston, I urge you and staff to reopen our outdoor facilities and fields for community use and for organized recreational sports. Our county has opened park and rec facilities for this. Our kids and our community need these supervised activities. Just as one of the parents mentioned, teenagers are out there doing it on their own, and they're probably not following the same rules that they would follow if coaches were present. I urge our staff to consider allowing our sports teams at our CMS schools to practice in the pod structure that they had all worked so hard to organize in the month of June, pending that July starting date. I urge us to put our sports teams back on the fields. The coaches and student athletes are ready to go. And just like our child nutrition program has risen to this unprecedented level of caring and service during this time, I believe our coaches and our athletes will do the same thing. They will bring to us great activities and great teamwork and all those incredible things. It's not about the games. It's about the relationships that these kids are missing right now. They miss their coaches. These coaches are mentors. They're life skills teachers to these kids. They're so much more than just coaches. And I just urge you to get these kids back on the fields with their coaches. And that's all for tonight. But I do hope that I get to see my colleagues in person in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Unmute. It should be in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, Dr. Jones, the unmute button. Ms. Kelly, do you have the ability to unmute her?
Yeah, I'm trying. It's not going off. Mr. Brute, do you know if we can unmute Dr. Jones from your end?
I'm not having any better luck than you are at the moment.
I'll come back to you, Dr. Jones. But just you should have a button either in the lower left of your computer screen, or if you look. Okay, I will come back to you, Dr. Jones. Anybody else have any comments?
This might be a good time to switch our interpreters to your person.
Okay. Do the interpreters need to switch? Is it time? Okay. Okay, Ms. Shipp.
I first want to say thank you so much, kind of with Superintendent Winston. This is a welcome back and a thank you to all the CMS staff for your diligence and hard work to get back into school. This was very important. I know it was courage for some of you who were uncomfortable, how they say they have courage to work, and sometimes when we're uncomfortable and it's challenging times. So I want to thank the superintendent, all that you've done, the executive staff, the principals, the teachers, and all the support staff that make it happen. You're the A team, and there's no I in team. So it takes everybody to make it happen. And I know the work that you're doing. I've heard from teachers talk about their professional development and the hours they have spent looking at the Canvas program, those who are looking at the new reading program. They have talked about how wonderful they think and how robust they believe it's going to be. And it has been a lot of work, because they said it's been many hours preparing for the remote learning that we're in now. And I know this is where we are today, but it's definitely not where we want to be. And I am all about moving forward, as well as the superintendent has mentioned. We need to begin to plan for how we move forward into Plan B. As Ms. Cheek has mentioned too, that's very important. We need to have the readiness for our buildings so that we know that we can go forward with Plan B when it's safe to do so. And also, you know, we're looking at making sure that all parts come together, that we know that we are going to be successful when we do open, which is on August 17th. And I know right now the time must be spent on making sure every child will have what they need. And I think it's very important that we encourage our parents to make sure they're going to be meeting with their teachers. Parents, it's going to be very important that you are part of this. And I know the schools are reaching out to you to make sure every child in this entire district is ready for August 17th. And I think that's more critical than anything. They have the tools in hand and they know what it's going to look like, whether they're in full remote or whether they're in the regular remote. And this is going to be critical. So I thank you for the work that everyone's doing and our onboarding that's going to happen, because parents are asking, when will I know about that regular, get that letter like the superintendent mentioned, the call from the teacher? I need all the information about what school is going to look like, who's my teacher, what group am I in, what do I need to know about that first day, August 17th? What do I need to know about attendance? And I know all these things are coming together. And this is the work that must be done. And I want to thank everybody for the great job that they're doing to get our children ready for August 17th. And teachers, phenomenal work I know you're doing, and our school staff.
Lenora.
Back to you, Dr. Jones.
Yes, Lenora just expressed beautifully what I was planning to say, and thank you so much. Thank you, Superintendent Winston. Thanks to the staff. Let me just, again, ditto everything that Ms. Shipp has said.
Oh, I did just want to mention, since Dr. Jones and I are kind of together on that too, I do know the importance of physical activity and our children, social and emotional and mental health. And I have been involved too with coaches and physical activity. And I do hope we will look at how to get our children back on the field, even if it is just that recreational practice time. I know they need it. And I've heard from many parents, and I truly know how important that mentor-coach relationship is to our students. And they do feel like a lot has been taken from them. They need this piece. And I've seen them already. I have a community recreational center where I live, and they're already coming together anyway, doing some things, and we want them to do it safe. Someone mentioned organized with masks and social distancing. So they're already trying to find a way to do it. Gabe, I've seen your group of your age group. We know how much they enjoy coming together. I've seen them meet up in parking lots, just trying to find ways to already connect. So I do think we need to look at how we can do that. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have a report tonight? Ms. Marshall.
I just want to just say a few remarks. A few weeks ago, I asked for more time to begin the school year, and we need to talk every meeting we have about what we're doing with that time. I think Ms. Cheek emphasized that, and I know that our staff is working hard and leaning in. So I want to talk a little bit about what I've heard about the time so far since we've made some decisions and to now, and certainly getting a lot of community feedback on all of that. But I think it's important that we let folks know what we know. And I heard the superintendent mention that PPE has been delivered and signage has been installed in schools. Those were things that I think we were concerned about. PPE and cleaning supplies continue to come, but that is happening. I know that heating and air work continues, and that teacher vacancies that are levels that are consistent with prior years. So that's good news. As our staff are back in the classrooms they have not occupied in months, they're adjusting to new protocols and learning all of those things and thinking about how they can keep their students safe. And they're connecting with students and families. All the while we're standing up a new remote learning system that's going to be a part of every student's experience, whether we are in a B or a C. So this is important. This is going to be a backbone of how we go forward this year. The team working on reopening metrics we heard is meeting, and we are hearing positive news around infection rates and hospitalizations. And that is certainly good news just for our community in general. We hope that continues. We hope everybody keeps doing the things that are making that happen. And there are many questions yet to answer. And I know folks are impatient for all the answers. And I want folks to know that at the beginning of the school year, we're going to have some not yets in those answers to those questions. And some of those not yets right now, or maybe soon to be, include extracurriculars. I want to say that I'm in favor of taking a proactive way to involve students in activities that are really important to them. And I know that we've talked about tonight the variety and breadth of what those activities might be. I know that coordination has to happen on school level. And so while we're letting our teachers and principals get really important things off the ground, I'm hopeful that we can, again, move in a direction and lean in so we can offer some of those things to students as we go into the school year. It's a different time, and we're going to have to be creative, and something won't look like they've looked like in the past. Everybody knows that. But I think leaning in and trying to find some ways to connect in ways we haven't before, and in person in as many ways as possible will be very helpful. We're all working to make the most unusual beginning of school we've ever had to work as smoothly as it can given the circumstances. And do know that every community in the country is dealing with the same problems we are. Some have made decisions they've had to walk back from already, and some have had successes with the decisions that they've made. And we're watching and learning, and we're putting best practices into place as quickly as we can. We want to minimize the stops and starts that could happen as we move through the fall. And I think most people are aware of what those might be. We have to be mindful of them. But I also want to thank so many community partners who are reaching out and connecting for ways to help. And we all want answers, and they want answers too in ways they can help. And people are really positioning themselves to all come together. And we need all that energy right now. I want to particularly thank the Belk Foundation and Reed Charlotte for convening ways to connect the dots. We will have more needs as we move through the beginning of the year, regardless of if we are in a fully remote scenario or in a more in-person situation. The involvement of community partners is going to help our students, staff, and families move through this time. And I'm grateful for the energy and commitment I'm seeing. Where we start is not going to be where we end. So we'll just keep moving. Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Mr. Strain.
Come off mute. Thank you, Madam Chair. So I first want to start by saying thank you so much for the report this evening from Ms. Beam. It was great to hear about our school nutrition program, the wonderful things that that team has done in pulling together and, you know, pivoting. One of my colleagues talked about pivoting and the ability to pivot and serve the community on that key function that we provide to our youth in the community, which is so critical. That being said, what we didn't really talk about tonight was the core work of this board, which includes a return to the classroom. And earlier we talked about when it's safe to do so. So just a reminder that, you know, on the 14th of July, we talked about Plan B. That's where we were focused. That's what staff was working to. We had a plan to do so. And at that point in time, our community, the county, was on an 11.5% positivity rate and 0.24% infection rate. And then between the 14th and 15th, the governor made an announcement. We made a change. We decided we could only go to school for 2 weeks. In the subsequent weeks, we decided we didn't have a viable plan to do so, and that was really pinned on staffing and facilities, not really on the medical side of this. During that time period, the most recent numbers show that the positivity rate in our county has dropped 35% since then, since we had a Plan B, to 7.5%. And the infection rate has dropped 42% from 0.24% to 0.14%. So I'm glad that we have now convened and they've met once in terms of a medical advisory board that we first heard from on the 15th of July, and they told us, you know, that that our students needed to be in schools, that it was more safe for them to be in schools than not to be in schools. The medical side of this has improved markedly. I look forward to hearing how our facilities and staffing have moved forward, as several of my colleagues have called for as well. We need a plan to return to the classrooms. Now, I want to touch on a couple of things. Mr. Superintendent, you talked about our pre-K program earlier. So Mecklenburg County hosts a pre-K program as well. And they also have something called the Department of Health. In fact, they are the health department for our county. And so from that perspective, they've decided that pre-K can be hosted in their facilities, and we've decided that it's unsafe to do so. There's a disconnect somewhere, and I think where our county is making decisions alongside, I mean, they are the health department, and they're saying it's healthy to do things like pre-K and offer pre-K services. We need to pay attention to that, and we need to do for all the reasons that they're doing. If we're going to vary, we really need to be able to explain that. We can move that to the fields. So we have fields that we offer for community use. Certainly, Ms. Cheek was talking about this earlier as well. Ms. Marshall talked about the fact that there are opportunities for our community to go out and participate in athletic events on the fields. The Mecklenburg County fields have been open since July 6th, and that is per North Carolina Health and Human Services advice and guidance. Our fields are still not open to our community. Unclear why. I would really appreciate it if we would look hard at that and getting back in line with the county again. And again, the county is the Department of Public Health. They know best. Lastly, there was talk about the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. Quite a few speakers about that this evening as well. In fact, one said it's quite possible that we are the only district that are not following the North Carolina High School Athletic Association summer guidance, which has now moved into phase 2 and permits the training and practice of our teams to get together in the pods per the guidance and practice safely per the guidelines and given the oversight of our coaching staff that is so keen to get out there with their players and mentor those youth. So not only am I calling for the opening of the fields and really looking at falling in with Mecklenburg County on both those items and the pre-K, but also the High School Athletic Association and following those guidance. I'm also calling for a plan in motion by the end of the month to have a full Plan B implementation for pre-K 5 on September 14th. That's not a random date. That's a very important date, because after that point, we will have no choice but to start releasing staff that is not necessary under a full Plan C. We have to move in this direction. We have to set a date, and we have to work toward that objective, clearly defining for all of our staff, all of our community partners, all of our parents and stakeholders, where and how we're moving in that direction, and have the metrics in place to check off that plan if that's what we end up doing. But we need a plan in place because there's activities that have to take place today to make that a reality, and we need to be working in that direction. Thank you very much.
Ms. Sawyer.
Thank you. I too am looking so forward to having students back in school when it's safe. We've seen in our neighbors to the south, schools open only to close quickly because of COVID outbreaks within the school buildings. And I think, as Ms. Marshall said, when we open, we want to be able to stay open and not have to rapidly cycle through opening and closure. The MEC pre-K question, actually the county manager made that call to open MEC pre-K, not the Department of Health. And in fact, the Department of Health back in March, when we decided to close schools, actually urged us at that time to stay open. So, you know, I think we are making decisions on shifting sands. And I think, you know, for better or worse, we will continue to do that going forward. Every day, new information comes out. I mean, the college football is still deciding whether they will proceed. Some leagues have already canceled their seasons or moved them to the spring. So we need to be mindful of changing conditions, changing science. But I too am thrilled that our infection rates and test positive % are going down in Mecklenburg County. That's a great start. And I want to thank the community for making that possible. That's not a CMS job, that's a community job of wearing masks and washing hands and keeping social distance. So I am grateful to the community for their efforts to make school opening possible by doing the 3 W's. That said, I'm excited about the first day of school, kind of bittersweet because I don't have a child starting school this year. But I want to ask everyone to kind of take a deep breath and remember that this is new for everyone. It's new for kids, it's new for parents, it's new for teachers, it's new for principals and staff. And I hope as everyone figures out how to make the remote learning successful, that we kind of give each other just a little bit of grace. And I think if we all assume good intentions and that we all want to get to the same place, that we'll have a happier start to the school year. So I want to thank all the families for being patient as they wait for that call from their teacher. I want to thank staff for the work that they're doing in preparation. I've heard so many teachers excited about the course shells that are set up in Canvas. And I'm excited to get this school year going. So thank you.
All right. Well, if I see nobody else, I just have a simple message tonight, and it is to Mr. Schul and to all of our students. We are, with remote learning beginning on Monday, August 17th, we are embarking upon a year like no other. And I just wish you all Godspeed. Be well, be safe, be courageous, be tenacious, do your best. And I think we're going to make history this year, one way or the other. We're making history. And I too am looking forward to when we can all meet together again in our buildings, hopefully sooner rather than later. It needs to be safe. It just needs to be safe for students, for staff. We need to have the right COVID numbers, infection numbers, hospital numbers, the right amount of testing available. We need to know that our buildings are ready. We've got the good, safe ventilation. It just needs to be safe. But I want to end this board meeting tonight with a focus on the students, because that's really what we're all here for. We're here for the students. So thank you, Mr. Superintendent, and your team for countless hours of work and countless pivoting plans and flexibility as the conditions have changed around us. Thank you all, and let's just keep our hearts on our kids right now. So with that, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to give that motion to Ms. Byers-Bailey, a second to Ms. Cheek. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hands and say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, seeing no opposition, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Stay safe.
Ms. Byers-Bailey, enjoy that tropical vacation you're on.
Night, everyone.